Hi, my name is Rani Yahya. I'm 22 years old, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt, 3 times Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu world champion, and Abu Dhabi World Submission Wrestling champion. I'm a professional MMA fighter with 13 professional fights in Brazil, United States, and Japan. And today, me and my friend Ikido, we're gonna work some sweeps from the guard, some situations that we use with the gi, adapted it to a no-gi situation. Okay, so to start, we are on the close guard. A good situation for me, for the guy on bottom, because right now, the guy on top is very vulnerable for my attacks. I have attacks on his arm, I have chokes, or sweeps. That's what we're gonna work. I have a lot of options. And he doesn't have a lot of options, especially without the gi. So all he has to do from here is open my guard to try work the pass on the guard. So I'm in a better situation. So we're gonna start with one of the most basic sweeps, the Jiu-Jitsu. Okay, I'm gonna go to the left side. So I'm gonna pass my left arm over his head and do this move, putting my elbow on the ground, okay? And then, after I put my elbow on the ground and have my arm behind his back, I'm gonna switch to my hand on the ground. But at the same time, when I put my hand on the ground, immediately I open my guard and I put my left foot on the ground. We gotta do this in one motion. And I gotta get here. Now, what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna hug his arm like this, look to my opposite side, and my left foot gonna drive my hip, gonna make me lift my hip in a diagonal direction. So I look to the opposite direction and my hip go in a diagonal direction. And I finish right here. We have to do this move in one motion. So right now, I'm gonna do a little bit faster and then we go back to the details. Okay, so let's go back to the details. So I'm gonna put my elbow on the ground to lift my upper body. Now I'm gonna switch to my hand on the ground. My hand gonna support my whole body. And when I put my hand, I open my guard and I put my left foot on the ground. My left foot have to make me do this move. The sweep is on my hip and my hip moves depends my left foot right now, okay? Again, I'm gonna kind of hug his arm a little bit. I don't have to get this, okay? I just need a good control right here or like this. If we get this, good for us, but we don't have to think too much because we're doing the move in just one motion. I just need this control. Now I'm gonna look back and my hip's gonna go in a diagonal direction. Okay? Okay, I'm gonna do one more time, faster. So the move have to be in one motion only. So let's go again. Then I finish on the mount position. The only way that he can defend my sweep from here is posturing when I go to the sweep. So I come to the sweep and he lifts his hip. Yeah, that way he avoid my sweep. But when he lifts his hip, he give me a space to me to attack his neck because he lifts his neck at the same time. So that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna hug his neck right here, sit, grab my hand, and then I put my back on the ground again. I'm gonna cross my legs on his low back right here, and then all I have to do is lift my hip. I go to the sweep, and right away he lifts his hips. That way he avoid the sweep. But look at the detail. When he lifts his hips, let's go again. Now he has the head down. But when he lifts his hips, yeah, he has the head up. So I'm just gonna follow his move. I'm gonna hug his head like this, okay? I sit and grab my hand. I can grab my hand over his arm or on this situation right here, okay? We have the guillotine the both ways. This way is better because he has less options to defend. Now I put my back on the ground. I always have to grab my hand before I put my back on the ground. Very important to me to cross the legs on his low back. Now all I have to do, I don't have to turn or do anything. I just lift my hips up and keep. Okay, now some details about the guillotine. If I'm going to the guillotine to this side right here, my left hand gonna grab my right hand in this position right here. I don't wanna grab my wrist. If I grab my wrist, he can push my wrist and then I don't have a strength on my arms. So that's the grip that I want. If I'm going to this side, I switch. My right hand, grab my left hand. So basically what I'm gonna do, my right hand that is resting right now, that is supporting my body right now, just gonna grab my left hand like this. I don't need any move on my left hand right now. The other detail is very important, as I said before. I lock and then I put the back on the ground. I never put the back on the ground if I don't lock, because this situation here, I don't have space to grab my hand anymore. Right here, I have a lot of space. I go to the sweep and he postures up. Now, I hug his head, I'm ready to go to the guillotine, grab my arm, but now for some reason he defends. He has a lot of options to defend here. Let's suppose now that he did the most basic defense, which he passed the arm over my shoulder right here. Yes, like that I don't have leverage to finish him anymore. So I'm gonna use the guillotine to sweep him. What I'm gonna do? I'm gonna put my foot on the ground. At the same time, I move my hip that way. We gotta do that at the same time. I can't put my foot on the ground and then move, because that might be too late. Because sometimes I put my foot on the ground and then he jumps, yeah, and get the half guard or pass my guard. Good for him. Okay, so let's go back. Okay, go to the defense. Okay. So at the same time, I move my hip. Now, right when I move my hip, I can come back with my leg here. But I need my foot on the ground to use the sweep. Now the sweep is on my elbows. What I'm gonna do? My left elbow, which is the arm that I'm holding his head, I'm gonna bring him to my hip. And my right elbow, I'm gonna lift. So I'm gonna do this. And finish on the side control, right here. Okay, so we're right here, and I can't finish the guillotine anymore, so I'm gonna use the guillotine to sweep. My foot on the ground, the same time I do a hip escape, okay? My leg always have to be ready to lift in case he jumps to the side, goes jump. Yes, and now my leg avoid his jumps, okay? I'm gonna put the foot on the ground to use the sweep, but the most important thing is the elbow. So my left elbow, which is the elbow from my left arm, which the arms that I'm hugging his head, my left elbow I'm gonna put on my hip, and my right elbow I'm gonna lift. So that's the move I'm gonna do. Okay, right now I turn and I finish on the side control. Immediately I get the underhook right here, because I don't have the guillotine anymore to finish over there, the way that I was grabbing. Okay, so now let's gonna do the same sweep from a different situation, because all I need is him to defend the guillotine to me to go to the sweep. It's not necessary with their arm around my neck. Let's suppose now that he grabbed my wrist. It's another way that he has to defend the guillotine. Doesn't matter, I can still go into the sweep. It's even better for me from that situation. Foot on the ground, at the same time I move my hip, and now elbow up and the other elbow down. The elbow that I'm hugging his head goes down. And I finish right here. Okay, so his head is right here. That's my grip, okay? I need my foot on the ground. My foot is gonna support my body because I need to lift my hips. So I need my foot on the ground. And the most important thing, the elbows, okay? This elbow comes up and this elbow comes, this elbow comes down and the other elbow comes up because his head is right here, okay? So that's the move I'm gonna do. I bring my elbow to my hip and lift the other elbow. At the same time, I lift my hips. Okay, now we're in a different situation. Now he's trying to open my guard. He has a lot of different ways to open my guard. But many ways that he's gonna try open my guard, he's gonna lift his leg. Maybe both legs, maybe one leg. So let's suppose he lift one leg and he's put the elbow here to try open my guard. Yeah, a lot of times he's gonna try open my guard like this. Yes. Right when he lift the leg, I'm gonna hug his leg, grab my hand like this. Now what I wanna do is bring his foot to my chest because my goal is break his balance. Right now he has a good posture. When I do this, he kinda lose his posture. So that's my goal, bring his foot to my chest to break his posture. Now my left leg pass over his head. Before he tries anything, I'm gonna use my hip to go to the sweep and I'm gonna finish on my knees. So I straighten my body, using my hip, finish on my knees right here. Right now I'm gonna posture up, switch the grip and hug his head to pass his guard. Okay, now he's gonna try open my guard. In many ways that he's gonna try open my guard, he lift one leg, right? So he lift one leg. Right away, before he does the next move, we hug his leg. That's the grip I want. That's the strong grip that I have here. If I got this, it's not good. That's the best grip. Now, I want my biceps on his heel, okay? I don't want my biceps here because his calf is stronger than his heel. Here is easier to move, so I bring his foot to my chest so I could break his posture already. Now in one motion, I'm gonna pass his leg over his head and straighten my whole body, finish on my knees. Now I'm gonna do a little bit faster. Right here, I'm not done yet. I already swept him, but I wanna finish in an excellent position. And I'm in a good situation to pass his guard. I'm just gonna switch my grip on his leg and hug his head. I'm already on his side. Okay, now we're going to the same situation, but he's gonna defend the last sweep that we were doing. So he lifts one leg, and I come to this grip. But let's suppose that he felt the dangers, and then he lift the other leg. Now he has a better base because I don't have too much strength to pull this leg right here. No problem. I'm gonna change. I'm gonna go to a different sweep. Now my hand grab his heel right here, and then I'm gonna put my head inside his leg. The other important detail is my forearm. My forearm gotta come on his calf to do that. When I get here, when I felt that my head passed his leg, I can open my guard and come to this position right here. My knees gotta come behind his knees, okay? I don't want my knees inside his legs. From here, the first thing I'm gonna do, grab his hip, and then I'm gonna kick. I'm gonna kick him to the sky and finish with the hooks right here. Okay, he lift one leg, I come to the grip, and then he lift the other leg. Okay, now I'm gonna go to the sweep. I have to do everything in one motion. So right now I'm gonna do a little bit faster, and then you guys can see, then I go back to the tails. So I'm here, that's what I need. That's the turn I need, okay? Turn my upper body to put my head inside his leg. So my hand on his heel is very important. My hand here also gonna help me to turn. Okay, he lift one leg, I come to the grip, he lift the other leg. Okay, I need to move my upper body. Grab his heel, hand on her calf. All I need is my head between his legs. That's what I need. I don't need more than that. From here is where I'm gonna open my guard. And when I open my guard, I'm gonna keep coming that way. From here, immediately, I grab his hip, okay? And then I'm gonna kick. I just gonna lift my legs. I finish with the hooks. Okay, now we're not on the closed guard anymore. We're on the open guard. So it's a pretty even situation. He has options to attack me, to try pass my guard, and I have options also to sweep him. Okay, so we always, on this situation, the best thing to do is sit. We don't want to be here with the back on the ground. This is not good for us. Now he's in a better situation. He has more options than me. He has more. I still have some good options, but he has more options to pass my guard. Here, I'm in a better situation than I was before. Okay, let's work the first sweep. I'm gonna get the underhook, okay? Let's suppose I got the underhook to this side. I need my knee and my right hip on the ground, okay? My left hip is not on the ground. Let's suppose I go to the other side, get the underhook to the right side. Can you see? Okay. Let's go back right here. Yes. Right now, he has a lot of things to do from here. Now I'm in a very good situation. Let's suppose that he put the hand on my leg, which he's gonna do to, is still trying to pass my guard. Okay, what I'm gonna do, I need my left foot, make a hook on his thigh right here. Now I'm gonna grab his wrist. I gotta make a good grip on his wrist. That's how I'm gonna sweep him. My goal now is use my hook. At the same time, I push his hand. I try put his hand between his legs. You can see that his head is up now. But when I put his hand between his leg, his head come down. Let's go again to that detail. He heads up. Now when I do this, his heads come down. To finish the sweep, at the same time, I'm gonna use my hook. So my left foot gonna lift his right leg, but I'm gonna still pushing his wrist between his legs. And I finish right here. Same situation. Now I wanna sweep him to his right side. On the hook, okay? Let's suppose now that he didn't put the hand on my leg, or he put the hand on my heel, or he just protect his hand, put the hand on the ground, on his thigh. Let's suppose that he didn't give me his hand, doesn't matter. All I need is a grip, okay? Now let's go again. I'm gonna go to the sweep. And I finish right here. So at the same time, I use my hook, I push his hand. Try put his hand between his leg. Now he's gonna try resist a little bit, okay? He's try resist a little bit, but I keep pushing. That's what I'm gonna do when he's still trying to resist. I keep pushing his hand, trying to put his hand between his legs and lifting my hook. I don't do that one time. I keep trying to do that because as much I try, more he's gonna put his head down. Okay, so you resist a little bit. Let's go. And I finish right here. All I need to finish the sweep is his head down. Okay, now he's gonna defend this sweep, okay? I control his arm. So what can he do to defend the sweep? He can lift his leg up. So he lifts his leg. Now all his posture is on his leg. So that's the move I'm gonna do now. I'm gonna hug his leg, okay? I want my biceps on his leg. I don't want these, my biceps. Now I'm gonna put my back on the ground. At the same time, I move my hip up. And I come to this position right here. Right away, I bring my hand to my ear. That way I lock his leg. Any move he does from here, I have his leg, so I'm gonna finish in a good situation. But now we're gonna finish the sweep. I'm gonna turn one more time. Now I'm gonna put my right hip on the ground. At the same time, I'm gonna put my elbow on the ground. To do that, I need to put my foot on the ground to turn up. And my elbows on the ground. Now all that I'm gonna do, I'm gonna move my back leg, which is my right leg, to finish the sweep. I don't wanna go like this. I wanna do this. And then I finish the sweep. So same situation. I came to this grip and right away he lifted the leg. Okay, I get this first. okay? I put my arm under his leg very deep. Now I'm gonna put my hip on the ground at the same, my back on the ground at the same time I move my hip. Look how I'm gonna move my hip. I have my back on the ground. My foot is on the ground as well, because my foot gonna make me turn. Look how I wanna turn. I wanna turn here, okay? But I wanna put also my elbow on the ground. So I'm back on the ground again. So look how I'm gonna turn. My foot gonna make me turn, and my elbow is on the ground. That's what I want. All the time my hand on my ear. Now the most important thing is how I'm gonna lift, because that's the final part of the sweep. He's already have no balance here. I just have to finish the sweep. I just gonna move my right leg. I keep my left foot on the ground. I move my right leg, which is my back leg. I'm gonna put all my weight against my hand right here. Okay, once I get here, I pull, and then I come forward. I can finish on his back, I can finish passing his guard. Okay, now I'm gonna do the sweep by myself, and then you guys can see how I'm gonna move my hip, how I'm gonna move my legs and everything. So let's suppose I'm going to the sweep to the right side. I get the left on the hook, and then he lifts his left leg. Okay, that's the grip that I want, right? Tight. So I'm gonna get this. Now that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna come into him, okay, put my back on the ground, and put my butt on the ground as well, okay? So that's the move. I need my foot to do this. Okay, once I get here, everything is on my right foot, because I gotta turn one more time that way, okay? So I'm gonna turn, I'm gonna lift my body, my right foot is supporting my body, and I turn this way. When I turn, I put my elbow on the ground right away, right? Okay, now my right foot again, and my left hand now gonna make me move my back leg. Then I pull and go forward. I go to the sweep, he lifts the leg to the fan. I come with my arm inside his leg, my arm very deep. I don't want my arm right here, I want my arm deep. Now I come into him, this. My back's on the ground, my hand is on my ear, okay? Foot on the ground, gonna make me turn that way. Okay, now I'm gonna lift. Look, my elbow is on the ground. That's what's gonna make me lift. Everything that I do now, move just my left leg, which is my back leg. I pull him back, and then I go forward. Okay, now I'm on the butterfly guard again, but before I start to do the underhooks, he's gonna avoid that, so he's gonna lift one leg, okay? He can lift one leg, or let's suppose that he stand up, okay? Same thing, when he stand up and when he lifts just one leg is the same thing. I have the same options. Okay, so that's the next sweep we're gonna do. I'm gonna put the hand on the ground. At the same time, I'm gonna hug his leg. Watch, when I hug his leg, my head is connected to his leg. Because if I'm like this, he push my head, yeah, okay, and he's gonna put my back on the ground. It's something that we don't want, right? So that's the position when I get it. Okay, now my hand on the ground gonna make my hip turn, like this. My hip turning gonna make the whole difference, because when he turns, I'm gonna put pressure on my shoulder. Watch, all the time my head is connected. And when I turn my shoulder, I break his balance. So let me do faster. Yes. From here, I have few options. I can stand up and have a single leg. I can just switch the grip right here and go to his back. Now, butterfly guard again, but to avoid, let's suppose that he's more offensive now, and he lift his leg to start working the passing the guard, and then he lift the leg. If he lift the leg, some guys like to work with the leg like this, or lift the both legs. Same thing, we can work the same kind of sweeps. No difference if he has the both legs or one leg. Okay, that's the grip we want, okay? But immediately, I'm gonna go to the sweep, which I'm gonna do a little bit faster now, and you guys can see. If he stand up, let's go, I got the single leg. If not, my left hand grab his leg and my right hand go around his hip and I'm on his back. Okay, now let's go to some details now. My hip is the most important thing here. My hip is what is gonna break his balance, okay? To move my hip, I need my hand on the ground because I'm gonna do this. That's what I'm gonna do. When I move my hip that way, I push my shoulder the opposite way. And all the time, my head is connected to his leg, right? I can't do this like this. I have no strength. My head and my chest gotta be on his knee and on his thigh. I broke his balance. I turn on my knees, and now to finish the situation here, it's gonna depend what he's gonna give it to me. If he stand up, I got the single leg. If he didn't stand up, if he's late, or if I'm faster, I just switch grips. And I'm on his back. Okay, now same situation, but when I hug his leg right here, he pointed his knee on that direction. Okay, now the thing got complicated for me because when I move my hip, I can't break his balance. Okay, let's do it on this leg and then you guys can watch. So here I can break his balance, right? I can break his balance. But right now he point his knee to that direction. Yes, I can't break his balance anymore. And I don't want to waste too much of my time here trying go to the sweep. I'm just gonna switch and go to a different sweep. So he's doing this, I'm gonna do almost the same thing, but in a different direction. But that one, we can't do in two motions. We have to do in one motion, okay? I'm gonna switch. Now my arm comes inside, my hand comes close to me, and I have to put my butt in the middle of his legs. That's what I want. I need my shoulder behind his thigh. If my shoulder is here, too dangerous because he can push, he can go to a choke from here. Yes. But if I have my shoulder here and my head connected, and if he try to do the same thing, good for me. Now all I'm gonna do, I'm not gonna break his balance to the side, to the other side, to the front, to the back. No. All I'm gonna do, I'm gonna stand up. And he gonna swap himself naturally, like this. I just want to stand up. Okay, so I couldn't go to this sweep. I saw that he has the knee pointing in the other direction, so I'm gonna come to this sweep right away. Right now, I'm gonna go a little bit faster because that's the way that sweep works. We gotta go in one motion only. This one, we cannot go in two motions because that might be too late. Okay, and it's a little bit dangerous because we kind of turn back. But if we do in one motion, we're okay. So soon as we have our hips here, right away, we lift, we stand up. So that's what I'm gonna do. Okay, let's go now for the most important details, which I said before, and I'm gonna say again. Shoulder behind the thigh, hand close. This hand gonna make me lift my hip up, and my hip gotta come here. The hand is also very important to make me stand up because I'm gonna go towards the sky. I don't wanna go to the side to the other. I don't wanna move him. He's probably gonna fall to that side, but I wanna go up. I'm gonna stand up. That's the direction that I want. Where he falls is just a consequence. That's what I'm gonna do, the way that I'm gonna stand up. I finish right here. Okay, now I'm gonna go to the same sweep, But let's suppose he's gonna do the right thing. He's gonna anticipate my move and put my back on the ground, pushing my head, okay? Let's suppose that I'm trying to hug his leg, but he has the hands on my head and put my head on the ground. And he already come to this position now. He's ready to start to drive his knee to pass my guard and everything. Look what we're gonna do. We're gonna make a hook right here, okay? Doesn't matter where my foot gonna reach. I just need a hook, and I'm gonna turn my upper body, okay? So he's here, all his weight is against me. So I wanna take his weight out of me. If my foot can reach his thigh, good for me, okay? Sometimes not, so we just keep the foot here, because this foot gonna make us turn the upper body. Right when I turn the upper body, I come to this grip right here, okay? Now what I gonna do from here? I gonna bring my hands to my ear and straighten this leg up, okay? Once I get here, I put this foot behind his knee. Before I leave his foot, this hand grab his hip. I gotta feel his bone right here, okay? And then I'm gonna leave his foot and I grab the other bone. Now I come to him to the side, I pull him. I just bring this elbow, my right elbow, to my hip. And I finish right here. Okay, so he puts my back on the ground, okay? And now I turn my upper body and come here. Let me just warn you guys from the dangers that I have here, which is the toe hold. He's ready to go to the toe hold. So what I gonna do? I'm gonna hide my foot to avoid the toe hold. How I hide my foot? I just put my foot behind his knee. And from here, I got some good things, because if he moved too much, he try get toe hold, or if he just try escape, I can lose his balance just from here, okay? So let's go. What I'm gonna do to finish here? I bring my hands to my ear and straighten this leg, my right leg. Doesn't matter if I have the hook or not. I straighten, okay? Once I get here, immediately, I put that foot that was hidden on behind his knee, I put behind his opposite knee, okay? My left hand grab his hip. I didn't leave his foot yet because he might try run or something. And then I sit grabbing his other hip. I gotta feel the bone. Now my right elbow, I bring to my hip and I finish on the back. Okay, now I have my back on the ground again, which is bad for me. I'm gonna go to a different sweep now. I'm gonna grab his heel. At the same time, my knee gonna push his knee. I'm sorry, my foot gonna push his knee. And then I'm gonna have this hook on his leg. My foot gotta be over his knee, above his knee, okay? Now my left foot come behind his knee, so I'm gonna kind of cross right here. All that I need now is one grip. If I get two grips, good for me. Sometimes the guy don't have the both arms, so I just grab one. From here, I have a world of options to sweep him. It's all about my hip, okay? When I straighten my legs, I break his balance, okay? So I can sweep him that way. I just move my hip the other way. I just switch my hip. Let's go again. I can't sweep him the other way. I just move my hip to the other way. Yeah. Or I can sweep him backwards. I just come with my hips forward. Look this. Okay. So the sweep is all about to get on that position, okay? It's all about me to get those hooks here. Okay. One on his thigh above the knee, and the other one here behind the knee. Yes. Okay, so let's start everything again. Okay, from the normal situation. So that's what we're gonna do. Bring the foot on his knee, hand on his heel, okay? Now I push, at the same time I move my upper body, okay? I straighten my leg and I already have one hook and I already have the other hook, okay? Now I'm gonna look for two grips, right? If I have the both grips, a lot better for me. Doesn't make too much difference because I can do the same sweeps with one hand only. But let's suppose that I got this. All that I have to do here, I just cross his arms and then I have everything. And I got this, okay? So let's go again. I'm gonna sweep him to the three different ways. So I push his knee, foot on his thigh, the other foot behind his knee. I have a grip, okay? I grab. Now I wanna sweep him that way. I straighten my leg and move my hip that way. One, finish on top. Now the other way. Straighten my leg and move my hip the other way. Two, finish on top again. Now, which is my opinion is the best one? I just come with my hips forward. My hips here, my hip gotta be here now. So it's all about straightening the legs and move the hips in the direction that we want to sweep him. Okay, now let's gonna work arm drags, okay? Let's suppose I couldn't get the underhooks. The arm drag doesn't matter. He can have one leg up, both knees on the ground. He can stand up. Yeah, stand up, please. Yes. As long as he's had the posture down like this, good for me. Same thing if he has the knees on the ground. That's when he has the posture down. That's when I go to the arm drag. But now let's suppose that he's in an offensive situation. He's making a lot of grips on my legs to try and passing my guard, okay? And then that's the good moment to go to the arm drag, okay? When he's very defensive with a good posture, with the elbows tight, okay, not good for me to go to the arm drag. And then I come with the underhooks, okay, come to create a body connection. This is better. But right now he's more offensive. All I need to the arm drag is make a grip. One grip on the wrist and the other grip behind the elbow or behind the biceps. Doesn't matter. I just need a tight grip, okay? One thing about the arm drag, this is not about the stand-up arm drag, but the arm drag that when we are on the guard is, I'm not gonna pull him, okay? I just gonna move my hip, okay? And then automatically I'm gonna pull him, okay? So my goal is not to do this. That's what I'm gonna do. When I get my grip, immediately I turn. I move my hip. I wanna finish on his back, right? So right away, this leg passes over his low back, and I keep this. I don't wanna put my foot on the ground to come to his back. That might be too late and then he posture up again. Go posture up again, yes. But when I have my leg here, if he posture up again, posture up. And then I just follow him. And I'm on his back, okay? So it's pretty easy, okay? I make my grip. As soon as I make my grip, I lift my hips. So if my butt is here, I gotta put my butt here, right? So, and how I gonna move my hips? What I'm gonna use to move my hip is my foot. My foot gonna make me lift my body and turn like this. And then I pull him. I don't have to pull him with my arms, okay? That way I waste too much time because we're gonna be fighting here and I'm trying, okay? His arm might be stronger than my arm, so yes. So I make my grip and turn. Right away, my leg over his low back, and then I come to the back. Finish on his back. Now let's gonna do the move very fast, okay? We are fighting, okay? I'm on his back. Okay, he has few ways to defend the arm drag. One of the ways is if he lift the leg when I go to the arm drag and keep the head up right away. So I come to the arm drag and he does that. Now my hip is not powerful more to pull him. I can't go to his back. But I have another option since I'm here. I put my back on the ground and I pass my foot over his leg, my foot on his hip. Now look what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna bring my knee to my other knee like this, turning, and I'm gonna get the heel hook from here, okay? One important detail is I don't be on my side. I gotta keep my back on the ground. I'm just gonna turn my legs off, but I keep my back on the ground. I turn my legs to break his balance the way I did now. He has no balance now. Gonna go to the heel hook. The heel hook is very important to remind that we're not gonna lock the heel hook on the biceps. We're gonna lock the heel hook on the wrist. I feel my bone on his heel here, the radius on the heel, okay? All I have to do, I move my upper body in that direction, and then he taps, okay? Okay, I'm gonna go to the arm drag, and then he lifts the leg right away to defend the position. I keep doing the same move, right? I move my hip, but now I put my back on the ground and pass my leg over his leg. I gotta feel my foot on his hip. Now how I gonna break his balance? Let's suppose that he push up again, something. How I break his balance? Just my knee. I just put pressure on this knee right here. Yes. Immediately, I lock the heel hook. That's the grip I want the heel hook. I want to feel the both palm of my hands right here. The other interesting thing is I don't want to do this over my thumbs. I want to do like this. Okay? So that's how I get the heel hook. Now I'm gonna go just move my upper body, okay, and try bring his heel to my chest. Yeah. Okay, now we're on the same situation, the butterfly, but let's suppose he made a very smart move now. Let's suppose he got the underhook here on me, and then he got the half guard. Yeah, now I'm on a bad situation. Not too bad, almost very bad, okay? He's not in a very, very good situation yet. He's already have the underhook. What I have to avoid now is the fact that he hugged my head. Because if he hugged my head, yeah, then I'm almost done. I have only few options to escape here, but he's in a better situation. So soon as he gets here and he has the underhook, my hand comes to his biceps. Now try hug me, try hug my head. Yes, I always avoid, okay. Now from when I have this, I can fight for the underhook. But I'm not gonna fight for the underhook like this. This is very difficult for me. What I'm gonna do? I pass my arm around here, try put my head on his knee, and then I come with my underhook again. So that's the move I'm gonna do. I'm gonna do a little bit faster. Okay, try put, let's go again. Come around, try put my head on my knee, and my elbow pass through my hip. And then I get the underhook, okay? Now we're gonna work the sweep, okay? We're gonna start to work our sweep. That's what we want. Doesn't matter if we're on the half guard. What I'm gonna do, can you guys see my shoulder here? My shoulder is on his chest. So I'm gonna put my shoulder inside his arm, okay? That's the first thing I wanna do. When I have my shoulder like this, my arm, my hand can reach the other side of his hip or his rib. So my hand, my right hand, gonna make a grip here, or on his hip bone, or on his rib. Doesn't matter, I just gotta feel a grip here. Other important detail now, which what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna pass my right leg over his leg. That's gonna be my half guard hook when I'm looking to the sweep, because this is more offensive. All that I have to do now from here is move his heel like this. At the same time, I'm gonna bring, go back please. And at the same time, I'm gonna bring my elbow to my hip and roll over my back. Look at this. And I finish on top. Okay, he's on the half guard with the underhook, good position for him. Hand on his biceps to avoid that he hugs my head, okay? I put the hand on his biceps, try to move the arm now. Yes. Now I'm gonna get my underhook. I come around, my elbow pass through my rib, okay? And I get the underhook. Now I'm gonna fight for my shoulder. My shoulder have to come out of his body. Right now I have my shoulder on his chest, so that's what I'm gonna do. Look my shoulder now. My shoulder was here. Now my shoulder is here. And then I make a grip. Okay, grip on his hip bone, on his rib. I gotta feel some grip here, okay? Because I'm gonna use my elbow eventually. Now I switch the hooks, okay? I want my right leg over his leg. Because when I move his heel is where I'm gonna break his balance. Right here, he has balance. I can't start the sweep right here. What I need is his hip on my hip, and then he has no balance. So that's what I'm gonna do. I go back. Once I'm here, I just move his heel, and then I bring his hip to my hip. No, go back, go again, let's go again. Okay, now he has no balance, okay? I lock his leg. If he tries to come back, good for me. He's in a very bad situation now. Now, at the same time, I keep using my hook. I'm gonna bring my elbow to my hip and roll over my back. And I finish on top like this. Let's go one more time. Now I'm gonna go a little bit faster, okay? Because the second half of the sweep, we gotta do in one motion, okay? When I get my shoulder and I get the grip, we gotta do one motion. So pay attention now how I'm gonna break his balance, moving his heel, moving his foot, and using my elbow and sweep him, okay? That's what I want. From here, I have the option just to go to the side or to go to the mouth. Okay, now he's on the half guard and he's higher now, okay? Let's suppose he made a grip on my shoulder here. Okay, this grip make me very difficult to me to get the underhook. So what I'm gonna do now? I'm gonna turn back for him. That's what I want. But I'm not gonna leave my hooks there, okay? I'm not gonna turn back. I still having my hooks on his leg. Since I turn back, and let's suppose he has his weight against me, no problem. That's the position what I want. Now I'm gonna turn on my knees, okay? Doesn't matter if his knee is out, if I have only his leg, doesn't matter. That's the position what I want, okay? Now I'm gonna lock his elbow, okay? I can lock over the elbow. I can just grab the wrist and put my elbow on his elbow. What I'm gonna do now is put my head between his legs. I don't stop here. If I stop here, it's a mistake, okay? I keep going forward until I turn him in that direction. And that way I can take my elbow out. Okay, same situation. So he's kind of in a good position now. He's high. Okay, I lock the half guard. And then I turn back. Okay, I come to this position here. Then I turn on my knees. What I have to do to turn on my knees? Okay, just use my hands to lift my body. I can't leave the hooks, okay? Yeah, try take your leg out, kiddo. Yeah, I have this. This is very important for me. I need to lock his leg. If I don't have the leg, I can't go to the sweep because he's gonna go to my back, okay? Now, as much he has his weight against me, better for me, okay? I lock, that's the grip that I want, or here, doesn't matter. I'm gonna do a little bit faster now, the second part of the move. Pay attention that I'm gonna put my head between his legs. I'm not just gonna roll to the side. No, I'm gonna put my head between his legs. And I'm not gonna stop until I'm on top, okay? Now I can stop, okay? Okay, now we're on the situation. I have his arm, but let's suppose he start to choke me with this arm on. No problem, I can still go to the sweep. He cannot choke me with one arm. But I'm gonna warn you guys from something that happens here. Is if I stop right here, okay? Because if I stop right here, it will be a problem. So I gotta do this move in one motion and keep going. Because if I stop right here, he's gonna start to fight to take his leg out, okay? So let's suppose he start help with this leg up, and then he takes his leg out. He's ready to choke me. Okay, so let's go back. I gotta do in one motion. I can't stop there. I just stop when I'm on top. Look what I'm gonna do. Here. If he's still trying to choke me, still hugging my neck here, he can lock the rear naked choke lock. Look what I'm gonna do. Keep going, keep going. I'm gonna press the leg over his legs and I'm gonna take this elbow out. And I'm gonna finish on the mount position. Okay, again. So I'm in this situation. We're gonna go faster first. We're gonna go the right way first, which is this, right? That's the right way. But let's suppose he sat the way he did now, and he's still choking me. He's still choking. From here, I can leave the arm, no problem. I'm already on top. Okay, what I cannot let him work is the legs. What I'm gonna do to avoid the choke? He cannot choke me from there, but if I stop in this position, he's gonna choke me. I'm gonna pass this leg over his legs, okay, and take my elbow out. And then I finish on the mount position. Okay, so we're here, same situation. Let's suppose that he start to choke me. Okay, he cannot choke me with one arm only. So I go, and I don't stop here, I keep coming here. I have the option if I want to give this arm to him or not. Okay, I can still having the control the arm. The good thing now, if he's choking me, what I'm gonna do is pass my leg over his legs, and then I come this way, and now I have space to take my elbow off. And then I finish on the mount position.